crying was really intense and long stretches. So because of this, the initial thought was, well, this is colic. And I knew about colic. I mean, if you read online, you know, some people kind of say that colic is just this kind of unsettling of like a baby, and you know, this unsettling periods can go, you know, 3 hours at a time, and if it's 3 hours, 3 days, so on, then like you can kind of definitely see or determine that it's colic. And some people talk about colic as mostly kind of gas related and, you know, tummy related. So that was the initial thought. So we didn't do anything in terms of, you know, helping with that until we went to see a pediatrician. So basically 3 days after birth, or sorry, it was 4 days after birth, we were required to go back to the hospital where I delivered in order to have a pediatrician checkup. And that was just in and out. It was so weird. Basically, the nurse just took her, weighed her, measured her head circumference, measured her length, and then the doctor came in. We were kind of standing in the hallway initially, and then just walked into a small room, and the doctor was like, everything going all right? And I was like, yeah, I mean, managing, like breastfeeding plus milk, formula supplementing. And she checked, I guess, mostly kind of also for jaundice, whether Sofia's skin was, you know, a certain degree of yellow, and if everything was kind of running smoothly in terms of her getting rid of, I guess, the extra bile from her system. So yeah, that was a quick checkup. So we said, like, okay, that's not where we're not going to that hospital to kind of sign up with a pediatrician. We found a clinic that was nearby. It's actually the clinic where my gynecologist has her checkups, does her patient checkups, and my gynecologist recommended this pediatrician, and it's also 10 minutes away, so it was great. So we went to her. So this was like week 2, and she measured Sofia and kind of you know, took in kind of some comments that we had about how we did observe that she was super unsettled. Plus, she could kind of see it, how she was reacting. So her first thought was, all right, there, you know, it might be, you know, seems stomach related, but we can't just jump to obviously like severe treatments and so on. We kind of want to see like at what point in kind of like a treatment trajectory would she feel better. So she suggested to start with, and you know, be very open to trialing different things. She said we should start with kind of low impact changes. So first thing she said, how about we change the formula to the same kind of company, except the comfort or kind of colic related formula. So this is how it looks like. It's still Aptamil #1, and it's just Aptamil Comfort, and it just says it's for infants experiencing colic or constipation. So she said we could try that, and yeah, that's, I mean, in terms of description, it says it is specially designed to be more easily digested and to soften stools, helping to ease digestive discomfort. So I guess in terms of content, I mean, I haven't really ever analyzed kind of the difference between the two things, but yeah, it's probably in terms of quantities of things. Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually curious. Gonna take a quick second to kind of look into this. All right, so I guess this video actually prompted me to look at the difference between these two, and it's pretty interesting. So I looked at the contents, and the two, so this is the normal one, this is the comfort one. The two both have the animal protein, which is based on cow's milk. They both have whey protein, but the comfort one does not have casein as a form of protein, which might be because maybe it's more difficult to digest, which I think that might be the case. So this comfort formula eliminates the casein. In terms of the carbohydrates, they both have things like, or the combination of glucose, galactose, lactose, maltose, polysaccharides. That's the list of types of carbohydrates present in the normal Aptamil formula. The interesting thing is that the Comfort formula has significantly less lactose. So this one has 51.6 grams per 100 grams of formula of lactose, while this one has only 19.7. So it's pretty much half. It has decreased by half. And that might be because some kids could be lactose intolerant. So that this formula is not for lactose intolerant babies, but I guess having less may suggest that that could again be easier on digestion. It also has no maltose. This one has maltose, this one doesn't, but instead it has starch. So I don't know if, again, in terms of kind of baby digestion, I don't know if it has been determined that some of these carbohydrates are more or less difficult to digest. And the same vitamins, minerals are present in both, but those are the main differences. So anyways, we tried this as the first attempt. I guess that I was very much expecting that, okay, we found that, you know, it's colic and this colic formula will help. At that point, I also wasn't really told that any effect of changing formulas don't happen immediately. It really takes time, and I'll go into details about this in a little bit. So we tried that. The doctor said also to go ahead and try kind of some gas relief drops. There are many different companies. We tried multiple ones. So I can show you kind of what they are. All right, so in terms of gas relief drops, they all work with the same active ingredient, which is called simethicone. So depending on where you live, you'll find different brands and obviously different names. So for example, one of them was Infacol, and the best friend I mentioned, she had used this with her baby, but actually they weren't available. This wasn't available here anymore. So that was fine, but Infacol is present in other places. And basically, this one, in terms of dosage, allowed for 1 pipette of 0.5 milliliters, which actually contains 20 milligrams so 20 milligrams of simethicone, because this is 40 milligrams of simethicone per milliliter, so you were allowed to give half of that, 20 milligrams, before feeding. So some of the other companies kind of say that there's only a certain maximum amount you can give. So we kind of, I don't know, tried it out and tried not to give it absolutely at every single meal initially, because she was still very young. So for example, this one we tried, not that we tried, it's just we just had different versions. They all are, you know, the same. This one's Mommy's Bliss gas relief simethicone drops, and this one says that basically it's the same dosage, except this one is 0.3 milliliters. It has 20 milligrams of simethicone in it. And in terms of doses, it says you cannot exceed 12 doses daily. So basically, you know, she would never eat 12 meals. So you can give these drops before every single meal. Same thing with the other version we tried, Disflatyl. It's the same. You can see for gas discomfort, and it's simethicone 40 milligrams. Ooh, there we go. So yeah, that's it. We started with changing the formula, and we also tried gas relief drops right before each meal. I don't know if I necessarily saw a difference, but I mean, she was still young at that point. In some cases, it seemed like the simethicone did help with the burping, because that's what it's kind of supposed to do. The simethicone is supposed to kind of help collect the gas bubbles in order for them to kind of be released easier. So we did that, and in terms of another suggestion from the doctor, which again was supposed to be like the less invasive, less intense kind of approach initially was to try probiotics. So we had two versions, for example, two versions again, because we ended up finishing one, we got another one. This is from Gerber. It's called Soothe Probiotic Drops. And yep, let's see, I don't remember. Basically, it's only once a day. And it's 5 drops for this one. And it contains Lactobacillus reuteri protector. So it's just some kind of good bacteria to help the tummy. Did that. And the other one we also tried or had was the Proflora. And this says supplement of lactic acid bacteria and vitamin D for baby care. So basically, this one was 6 drops though. And it's to help with digestive health. It has the same Lactobacillus reuteri and Lactobacillus rhamnosus. Latin names. Plus a little bit of vitamin D. So it's supposed to help with like the gastrointestinal tract and digestion from birth till 2 years. So we included that in every, I guess, first feed of the day, which was usually for her initially at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. That was her best feeding time because she was kind of half asleep. That's when she wouldn't cry after feeding. So we included the probiotic in that bottle because we knew she would eat it. So I would do breastfeeding a little bit, I would give her the bottle, and then I would put her back to sleep and I would pump the rest of the milk and then save it. So that's the initial trial. Another thing that was suggested to us on that first doctor's appointment, again, that was at 2 weeks, was how about we try some kind of osteopathic medicine, as in maybe like baby physical therapy, and seeing an osteopath could help. So we were like, yeah, okay, let's try. So we got a referral, and I think maybe 3 days after that initial appointment with the pediatrician, we were able to get an appointment with osteopathic physical therapist doctor. And she basically did some baby massage, did some movements, first of all to massage like the head, kind of help with kind of nerves around here. She kind of said that, you know, birth can be pretty traumatic for infants, and I don't know if some misalignment happens or just something, there's discomfort, that could actually cause a lot of other reactions and problems. So she said sometimes she has seen like really big improvements with babies after these kinds of massages. So we went in for, I think, 3 sessions. She also did some like pelvic massages. I might do a video on this just to show some of the things I learned from that. And I did some of that at home as well with Sofia. She was really relaxed after these sessions, as in she was, not that she was in a trance, but she would sleep so deeply, and I would almost feel like nervous that she would need to wake up because she hadn't been eating for a while. So it helped in terms of that, but not in terms of like the food associated crying, which seemed to be like what I was noticing, that it wasn't crying because, I don't know, it was something related to her eating.